Ladies and gentlemen, my friends, success is not something you chase. Success is something you attract by the person you become. And the person you become is determined by three great pillars: value, contribution, and influence. Let's begin with value. If you want to be valuable, you must become more than you were yesterday. The marketplace rewards value, not time. You don't get paid for the hour, you get paid for the value you bring to that hour. That's the secret. Most people miss. If you want things to change, you must change. If you want things to get better, you must get better. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. Don't wish for fewer problems. Wish for more skills. Value comes from constant refinement, reading the books, attending the seminars, learning the lessons, and applying the wisdom. You see, a tree doesn't grow halfway and stop. It keeps growing until it reaches its full height. That's how you should live, stretching yourself to the limits of your potential, because the more valuable you become, the more doors open for you. Now let us talk about contribution. Value alone is not enough if you keep it all to yourself. The next step is to give, to contribute. Life responds to what you give, not just what you take. The question is not what can I get, but what can I give? When you contribute to others, your family, your community, your business, your friends, you become a person of substance. Contribution turns knowledge into service. It turns success into significance. You can make a living by what you get, but you make a life by what you give. Contribution is the bridge between self-development and legacy. Ask yourself every day, how can I add value to someone else's life today? Maybe it's through encouragement, maybe through teaching, or maybe just through your example, because someone somewhere is watching you and being influenced by what you do. And that brings us to the third pillar: influence. Influence is the art of inspiring others to do better, to be better, and to dream bigger. True influence doesn't come from power or position. It comes from character. People follow your example more than your words. If you live with integrity, discipline, and generosity, your life becomes a message, one that speaks louder than any speech or slogan. Influence is not about controlling people. It's about leading by example. It's about helping others see what's possible. And when your value and your contribution align, your influence grows naturally. That's how societies rise. That's how companies flourish. That's how families stay strong. But remember, influence starts small. Maybe it begins with one child, one employee, one friend. You don't have to change the world overnight. You just have to change your corner of it and let the ripples spread. Value comes before reward. That's one of the great lessons of life that Jim Rohn often emphasized. You don't get paid for the time you put in, you get paid for the value you bring to that time. Two people can work the same number of hours, yet one earns 10 times more. Why? Because one person has developed more value, more skill, more insight, more discipline, more ability to solve problems. The marketplace doesn't respond to effort alone, it responds to effectiveness. Effort is essential, but without value, it's just movement without progress. Think of it this way: a gardener and a goldsmith both use their hands, but what they produce is entirely different in worth. The difference isn't luck, it's value. And value comes from what you've learned, who you've become, and how much you've refined your abilities. The moment you understand that success isn't about how much time you spend, but about how much value you create in that time, your entire mindset changes. You stop counting hours and start measuring growth. Most people wish for easier circumstances, but that's the wrong wish. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. Don't wish for fewer problems. Wish for more wisdom, because when you grow, everything around you begins to improve. When you become more valuable, life gives you more responsibility, more opportunity, and yes, more reward. The world is always looking for people who can make things work, who can bring ideas to life, who can turn challenges into results. The more capable you become, the more indispensable you are. So how do you become valuable? It starts with personal development. Read the books, listen to the mentors, invest in your education, attend the seminars, learn the lessons, because every piece of knowledge adds a new layer to your value. But knowledge alone is not enough. You must apply what you learn. You must test it, use it, live it. You must take information and turn it into transformation. The difference between those who grow and those who stagnate is not intelligence, it's action. Each day is an opportunity to sharpen yourself. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job, because your job will only grow to the level that you do. If you stop growing, everything around you begins to shrink. But when you commit to learning and improving, your world expands. Your perspective changes. You start seeing opportunities where others see obstacles. You begin to anticipate, innovate, and lead instead of react. Becoming valuable also means developing your character. Skills might get you through the door, but character keeps you there. Be known for reliability, honesty, and excellence. When people can depend on you, your value increases instantly. In a world where shortcuts are common, integrity becomes a rare and powerful currency. It's not just about what you can do, it's about who you are while you do it. Every day you have two choices: to repeat yesterday or to improve on it. Growth isn't always comfortable, but it's always worth it. Small improvements compounded daily create massive value over time. Maybe today you learn something new, tomorrow you practice it, and a week from now you begin to master it. Slowly but surely your results begin to change, your confidence rises, and your contribution deepens. Value is not found in waiting for opportunities, it's created by preparing for them. When the right door opens, it's your preparation that determines whether you can walk through it. The marketplace is always fair. It rewards those who deserve it, not those who need it. The secret is to make yourself deserving by constantly increasing your worth. So don't focus on the reward, focus on the process. Don't chase the money, chase the skills that will attract it. Because when you become more valuable, the world has no choice but to respond. That's when success stops being a mystery. It becomes a natural outcome of who you've chosen to become. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. It's one of those timeless principles that separates the average from the exceptional. Your job may help you earn a living, but working on yourself will help you build a life. The greatest investment you will ever make is not in the stock market, not in real estate, not even in business. It's in your own mind, your habits, your skills, and your character. When you grow as a person, everything else grows along with you. Most people spend their lives trying to improve their circumstances without improving themselves. They want better jobs, higher pay, nicer homes, but they rarely stop to ask, am I becoming the kind of person who deserves those things? The truth is, success is something you attract by the person you become. If you want to change what you have, you must first change who you are. The world responds to growth. The more capable you become, the more opportunities you begin to notice, not because they weren't there before, but because now you're ready to see them. Self-improvement is not a one-time act. It's a lifelong commitment. It's the daily decision to become a little wiser, a little stronger, a little more disciplined. Read the books that challenge you, not just the ones that entertain you. Listen to ideas that stretch your thinking. Surround yourself with people who make you grow, not those who make you comfortable. Growth never happens in comfort. It happens when you step into the unfamiliar, the uncomfortable, and the uncertain. Jim Rohn used to say, formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. That means the best lessons you'll ever learn won't come from a classroom. They'll come from curiosity, observation, and action. Learn from mentors, from experience, from mistakes. Every failure carries a lesson if you're humble enough to look for it. The more you learn, the more confident you become. And confidence is the foundation of all achievement. Working on yourself also means developing your mindset. You can't live a positive life with a negative mind. You must learn to think differently, to focus on possibilities, not limitations. Life will always test you, but the way you respond determines your future. Build a mindset that refuses to give up. Train yourself to look for solutions rather than dwell on problems. Cultivate patience, gratitude, and resilience. These qualities don't just make you successful, they make you unstoppable. And let's not forget discipline, the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Working on yourself means mastering consistency. It's easy to be motivated for a day, but discipline keeps you going when motivation fades. It's the quiet force behind every meaningful achievement. Discipline teaches you to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It's what turns potential into performance. Every day ask yourself, what can I do today to become a better version of myself? Maybe it's reading 10 pages of a great book, practicing your craft, exercising, or simply choosing gratitude over complaint. Improvement doesn't happen in leaps. It happens in layers. Each small step adds up until one day you realize you've become a completely different person. Wiser, stronger, more capable. When you work harder on yourself, you become the kind of person who can handle greater responsibility. You become the person others trust, respect, and follow. The results you get in life are a direct reflection of who you are. If you don't like your results, change yourself, and your results will change automatically. So remember this truth. Your job may change your income, but working on yourself will change your destiny. Make personal growth your lifelong mission. Study success, practice gratitude, strengthen your character, and improve your habits. Because when you become more, you attract more. That's how you move from surviving to thriving. Not by waiting for luck, but by growing into the person who can create it. Contribution turns success into significance. It's the point where achievement stops being just about you and starts being about the difference you make in the lives of others. You can spend a lifetime accumulating wealth, recognition, and comfort, but none of it will truly satisfy you until you learn the power of giving. The world doesn't remember you for what you take. It remembers you for what you give. When your life becomes a source of value to others, you move from success to fulfillment, from achievement to legacy. We live in a world where people often measure success by numbers. How much money, how many followers, how big the house is. But the truth is, those numbers fade over time. What doesn't fade is the impact you make on another human being. When you contribute to someone's growth, when you help someone find hope, when you lift another person even a little higher, that becomes part of the story you leave behind. Contribution doesn't always mean giving money. It means giving meaning. It can be your time, your energy, your encouragement, your expertise, or your example. Sometimes the smallest act of kindness can create the biggest ripple. A smile, a word of encouragement, a gesture of understanding. These things cost nothing, but can change everything for someone else. The secret to living is giving, because contribution connects you to something larger than yourself. When you make contribution a habit, it changes your attitude toward life. You begin to realize that abundance flows through you, not just to you. The more you give, the more you grow. The more you share, the more capable you become. It's not about losing what you have. It's about multiplying it. When you contribute with sincerity, the universe has a way of returning that energy in unexpected ways, through new relationships, opportunities, and peace of mind. Contribution also gives purpose to your ambition. It's good to pursue success, but it's even better to use that success to lift others. Imagine your success as a ladder. Each step you climb gives you a higher view, but the true reward is when you reach back and help someone else climb with you. That's how communities grow. That's how families thrive. That's how leaders leave their mark. It's easy to get caught up in the race for personal gain, the goals, the deadlines, the competition. But pause for a moment and ask yourself, who benefits from my success besides me? If your achievements end with you, they die with you. But if they extend to others, they outlive you. The essence of contribution is to make your life matter to more than just yourself. When you contribute, you also build influence. People don't follow titles, they follow impact. They remember those who helped them, those who believed in them, those who made them feel seen. Contribution gives your life depth. It makes your success meaningful because it's no longer just about accumulation, it's about transformation. The beautiful thing about contribution is that it's always within your reach. You don't need to be rich, famous, or powerful to make a difference. You just need to care. Start with what you have, where you are. Give a little more than expected. Listen a little longer than necessary. Encourage someone who's struggling. Mentor someone who's learning. Share what you know. Teach what you've mastered. Every small contribution adds up, and together they create a life of real significance. At the end of the day, the question is not how much you've earned, but how much you've contributed. What value did you bring to others? Whose life is better because you lived? When you focus on contribution, success follows naturally, because the act of giving doesn't just change the receiver, it transforms the giver. And that transformation, my friends, is what makes life truly meaningful. Influence grows from character, not position. Titles, authority, and power may give you control, but only character earns you respect. True influence cannot be demanded, it must be developed. People follow you because of who you are, not because of what you have. They may obey authority, but they are inspired by integrity. Character is the foundation upon which lasting influence is built, and without it, everything else eventually collapses. In today's world, many confuse visibility with influence. They believe that being seen is the same as being respected. But real influence is quiet, steady, and deep. It doesn't shout, it demonstrates. It's not found in followers, but in the lives that are changed because of your example. A person of character doesn't need to announce their worth. Their actions speak for them. When your words align with your deeds, people trust you. And when they trust you, your influence becomes powerful and enduring. Influence begins in the smallest of places. How you treat people, how you handle challenges, and how you keep your promises. You influence others every day, even when you don't realize it. Someone is watching how you work, how you speak, how you react under pressure. They're learning from your example, whether you know it or not. Every moment is an opportunity to lead, not by title, but by character. The truth is, you don't have to be a boss to be a leader. You don't have to have a stage to have influence. Leadership starts the moment you decide to live with integrity and intention. Influence isn't about telling people what to do. It's about showing them what's possible. It's about living in such a way that your actions give others permission to aim higher, dream bigger, and believe deeper. People remember those who stand for something. Influence grows when you are consistent in your values, even when it's inconvenient. It's easy to do the right thing when everyone's watching, but character is revealed in the moments when no one is. When you live by principles, not pressure, your influence becomes unshakable. Others may doubt your opinions, but they'll never doubt your integrity. And that's what gives your words power. A person of influence doesn't need to dominate. They elevate. They bring out the best in others. They encourage growth instead of fear, cooperation instead of competition. Influence isn't about control. It's about connection. It's about seeing potential in people and helping them see it in themselves. When you inspire others to rise, you rise with them. Influence also comes from service. The greatest leaders are those who serve first. When people feel that you care about their success, they naturally trust and follow you. You cannot truly influence someone you do not genuinely care about. That's why empathy and humility are the twin engines of influence. People may forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Over time, influence compounds. Every act of honesty, every word of encouragement, every example of discipline adds to your credibility. You build a reputation, brick by brick, day by day. And once you've earned it, your presence alone can inspire others to do better. That's the power of character. It influences even in silence. So if you want to grow your influence, don't chase authority. Build authenticity. Don't seek followers. Seek to serve. Don't focus on impressing people. Focus on improving yourself. The more solid your character becomes, the more magnetic your influence will be. In the end, your legacy won't be defined by your title, but by your impact. People won't remember what position you held. They'll remember how you made them feel, how you inspired them, and how you lived your values. Influence born from character doesn't fade when you leave the room. It lives on in the lives you've touched and the example you've set. Success is a consequence, not a chase. Too many people spend their lives running after success as if it's a butterfly that keeps slipping away. They chase money, fame, and recognition, thinking that if they can just grab hold of them, they'll finally be happy. But success doesn't work that way. It's not something you pursue. It's something you attract by the person you become. The secret isn't in chasing the reward. It's in mastering the process. When you grow in value, when you contribute with purpose, when you live with integrity, success becomes a natural result. The problem with chasing success is that it's always moving. You reach one goal and immediately feel the need to chase another. The joy fades quickly because the foundation is wrong. You've built your life around the pursuit of outcomes instead of the pursuit of growth. The better way, the wiser way, is to focus on becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts the outcomes you desire. When you become excellent at what you do, when you show up with consistency and passion, success has no choice but to find you. Jim Rohn often said, success is not to be pursued. It is to be attracted by the person you become. That means if you want better results, don't chase the reward. Improve yourself. Learn more. Practice more. Serve more. Make yourself worthy of success, and it will come. You can't control the timing or the scale of success, but you can always control your effort, your attitude, and your commitment. These are the real magnets that pull success toward you. Think about a farmer. He doesn't chase the harvest. He prepares the soil, plants the seeds, waters them, and nurtures them daily. He focuses on the process, not the outcome. And when the time is right, the harvest appears, not by accident, but by design. Success follows the same law. When you prepare, when you develop your skills, when you persist, the results eventually show up. The moment you understand this principle, you stop rushing and start growing. Chasing success can also create frustration because it often depends on external validation. You start measuring yourself by other people's achievements, comparing timelines, and questioning your worth. But when you understand that success is a consequence, you stop comparing and start improving. You realize that the goal is not to outdo others, but to outgrow your former self. Each step of progress becomes its own reward. True success isn't about what you get. It's about who you become in the process. It's about the discipline you build, the resilience you develop, the patience you learn, and the wisdom you gain. These qualities stay with you long after the trophies and titles fade. When you focus on growth, you not only achieve success, but you sustain it, because now it's rooted in strength, not chance. When you stop chasing, you also start enjoying. You begin to appreciate the journey, the small victories, the lessons, the progress that others might overlook. You realize that success is not a finish line. It's a rhythm of constant improvement and contribution. The people who find lasting fulfillment are those who fall in love with the process, who show up every day to give their best, not just to get the prize. So don't run after success. Become the kind of person success is drawn to. Build habits that create value. Practice consistency that earns trust. Develop skills that make a difference. Focus on growth, not glory. Because when you grow enough, contribute enough, and serve enough, success comes quietly and naturally. It stops being something you chase and starts being something you live. At the end of the day, success is not a race to win. It's a reflection of who you've become. When you build yourself, success will always follow. Leaving a legacy through impact is about living a life that outlasts you, a life that continues to inspire, influence, and uplift long after you're gone. Every person leaves a footprint, but the size and depth of that footprint depend on how intentionally they live. You don't have to be famous to leave a legacy. You just have to live with purpose. A legacy isn't built in a single grand moment. It's built quietly, day by day, through the way you treat people, the principles you stand by, and the contribution you make to the world around you. The truth is, the world forgets achievements faster than it forgets kindness. People may not remember the awards you won or the possessions you collected, but they will always remember how you made them feel. Legacy isn't about what you owned. It's about what you gave. It's about the lives you touched, the wisdom you shared, and the light you left in places that were once dark. When you live with the intention to make others' lives better, your name begins to live in hearts, not just in history. Every act of value and contribution plants a seed of impact. Maybe you mentor someone who goes on to change their own community. Maybe you inspire a child who grows up believing they can do more. Maybe your example of integrity teaches others that honesty still matters. These are the ripples of legacy. You may not see them immediately, but over time they spread wider and touch lives you never even meet. That's the beauty of living with purpose. The results go far beyond your sight. Building a legacy also means being consistent in character. People draw strength from those who are steady, reliable, and true to their word. In a world full of noise and instability, a person who stands firm in values becomes a lighthouse. Others look to them for direction, reassurance, and inspiration. Your legacy is not in the speeches you make, but in the life you live. The small decisions, the honest efforts, the way you carry yourself when no one is watching. Leaving an impact doesn't require grand gestures. Sometimes it's the quiet strength of perseverance that inspires others. Sometimes it's your kindness in hard times or your calmness in crisis that becomes someone else's example. You never truly know who's watching, learning, or being changed by your presence. Every day is an opportunity to live in a way that speaks beyond words. A lasting legacy also requires alignment. Your actions must match your values. You cannot leave a meaningful mark if your life lacks integrity. People forget what you say, but they never forget what you stand for. The legacy of character is the strongest kind because it cannot be destroyed by time or circumstance. It's passed on from generation to generation through stories, lessons, and inspiration. To leave an impact, you must think beyond yourself. Ask, how can I make this world a little better because I was here? That question turns every ordinary day into an opportunity for greatness. Whether it's through teaching, mentoring, giving, or simply being an example of excellence, every contribution matters. Your influence multiplies when your intentions are pure and your purpose is clear. In the end, life is not measured by duration, but by donation, by what you gave, how you grew, and who you helped along the way. A fulfilled life is one where your achievements benefit others, where your journey inspires others to take their own. Legacy is not about being remembered, it's about being continued. It's about others carrying forward the good that started with you. So live intentionally, give generously, lead with integrity, leave behind more than memories, leave behind meaning. Because the greatest reward in life is knowing that your existence made someone else's journey a little brighter, a little stronger, and a little more hopeful. That is the true measure of impact, and that is the essence of legacy. So here sits the formula, my friends. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. That's how you increase your value. Give more than you expect to receive. That's how you make a contribution. It's the law of a life worth watching. That's how you build influence. When you master these three, value, contribution, and influence, life begins to reward you in ways you never imagined. Because success is not a mystery, it's a consequence. The world doesn't pay you for what you know. It pays you for what you do, what you share, and who you become. So build your value, expand your contribution, grow your influence. That's how you change your life and the lives of everyone you touch. Thank you.